Hi, kalimera, kalimera, tikan. Yeah, so yeah, my last name. So this is a little bit tricky for me coming to Greece because my icebreaker during my presentations is always mispronouncing my last name. But I can't do that here because you can all pronounce my last name. So Alex Chatzizacharias. My father is Greek. My mother is Dutch. So I do live in the Netherlands right now, in Utrecht City, best city in the Netherlands, by the way. Anybody been to Utrecht? Nice. There's some Greeks here too. Utrecht, what? I have a couple of hobbies. I like bouldering occasionally. I have a Magic the Gathering card collection. Any other Magic fans here? Yeah. I went to a store. I did a perfect magic trick yesterday. I went to the store here, Magic store, and I turned $100 into $5 in 1 minute. And I really like video games, and you'll see that a little bit back and how I tend to do my demos and stuff like that. I worked at a small consultancy in the Netherlands called J-Driven. With 30 people, and we're focusing on GVM technologies and stuff like that. And I really love being in Greece, especially giving talks in Greece. Yeah, you know, it's coming home, it's amazing. I can drink my Freddo espresso schietto. This is the moment where I shell out for something. Has anybody been to Kos Island before? Okay, so this is where I shell out for Kos. Go to Kos, do your vacation there. If you see a taverna called Nestoras, spend all your money there. Yeah, good. And that is all the self-promotion I'm going to do this talk. So I want to talk a little bit. I'm going to be talking about AI, of course. Before starting my talk, I want to start with a quick rant. And that rant is, well, about AI. And I understand there is some irony to this. You know, I'm going to be talking about implementing AI workflows and stuff like that. And I'm starting about complaining about AI, but AI is everywhere right now. Anybody disagreeing with this statement? Good. So in Greece, you don't really use WhatsApp, right? You do? So I always thought, all my friends are like, yeah, you got to install Viber. I was like, what the hell is that? And then I look at the icon, it's like purple WhatsApp. Anyway, if you use WhatsApp, you saw this a couple months ago that they introduced Meta AI, right? Who was happy with Meta AI in WhatsApp? Who has used Meta AI in WhatsApp? It's kind of wild, right? So I'm pretty sure there's like maybe 5 people globally that used Meta AI in WhatsApp, and still it makes sense for them to roll it out. I don't know, that's kind of weird. And then you look at Excel, well, the 5,000 different versions of Copilot that Microsoft is rolling out now. If you go on Slack, you can summarize pretty much everything and anything, which is interesting in threads with 2 messages in them. If you use AWS, Amazon Q is pretty much anywhere. But, so I found this thing about Meta AI and in WhatsApp the other day. What's kind of cool, if you're out of tokens, you can ask it to write code for you. So if you're out of tokens in Cloud Code or anything like that, hook up your WhatsApp with Meta AI and have that code for you. It works. So I guess that is something you can do. And then who is using coding assistants? Right? So who is using coding assistant in the IDE? Okay, well, it's as expected. IntelliJ? Okay, VS Code? All right, so that's perfect 50-50 split, pretty much. What else do we have? Eclipse? NetBeans? Vim? People were waiting for it, like, come on. What else do we have? A Notepad++. Oh, yeah, maybe. Whiteboard. Think about it. You can write your code on a whiteboard, take a picture, have an LLM analyze the picture, and write the code. It's the future. Anyway, so this is Cursor. This is, what is this? This is Windsurf that was bought for a couple million. Now we have Juni in IntelliJ. Then we have Copilot. We have Codex. And We have Cloud Code in IntelliJ. If you look at all these plugins and IDEs and whatever you call them, I'm pretty sure if I didn't tell you which one was which, you would have no idea, because they all look exactly the same. And that is my biggest problem with AI as it is being pushed right now. It is extremely homogenized. And Cloud Code came out, and now terminal interfaces are all the rage. You know, everybody's doing a terminal interface, and then they all have like this little banner when it comes out, and this little animation. They're all trying to be cutesy. But this whole homogenization made me miss something. Anybody remember this guy? Anybody having fond memories of this guy? Oh, actually, people with fond memories. Okay, he drove me absolutely nuts. But I don't know, to me, and maybe it's a little bit of nostalgia talking, right? It represented a time where even big companies like Microsoft, they dared to take risks. They dared to put a talking, irritating clip thingy in Microsoft Word, telling you and being judgmental about your every keystroke. And that is just something you will not see nowadays anymore. And that kind of sucks, in my opinion. So I wanted to learn a little bit more about, okay, what does it take to make your own pair programmer? What do you need to do? How do all these agentic systems work? So I spent a couple hundred hours trying to build something. And basically what I'm going to do today is tell you the feelings I have after trying to do that. Spoiler alert, I'm not very sold on this workflow yet, but you know, you're all smart people. You can decide for yourself if you want to do something with this or not. All right, so before we talk about making our pair programs, let's talk about what a pair program is. Who is pair programming at their day-to-day? Oh, okay. It's an individualistic country, huh? Who likes pair programming? Okay. Who agrees with these statements? This is what a pair programmer arguably should be, right? You work collaboratively. Somebody, 4 eyes principle, so code is immediately reviewed as it is written, et cetera, et cetera. Real-time problem solving, code quality goes up, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Agreed? Oh, yeah. So this is not what a pair programmer is for me, personally. It is more something like this. Somebody that sits next to me, awkwardly judging every single keystroke I do. I've been a software engineer for almost 12 years now. And when I'm pair programming, suddenly I'm like an 8-year-old that doesn't really know how a keyboard works anymore. I forget everything I know. He's like, yeah, can you print something here? I was like, what do you mean print? How does it work again? But memes go fast, down the line really fast, right? So you start sharing memes very, very quickly. And this is a little bit the feeling that I try to recreate with my pair programmer, for better or for worse. So yeah, I needed a mascot like Clippy. Thankfully, I have a cat called Pip. That's him. That's him judging me. That's him judging my code. This is him during basically every single meeting I've ever taken. And this is him judging my tech stack that I chose to use for certain presentations. So I guess I'll just bring him forward, right? Where are we? All right. So this is IntelliJ, as you might know it. And here, hopefully, if everything goes correctly, oh, there he is. So I'm going to be showing so-called agentic workflows today. What's important to understand is that these things are extremely fragile. They might work, they might not work. If they don't work, we'll have a chuckle. You can be like, haha, his demo's broke. And it's like, then we'll continue, and I'll try to explain you why these things happen and stuff like that. First things first, let's ask him something. Hey, can you say hi to everyone here at this conference? All right. Okay, so you're seeing some things happening underwater. Some categorization, some judging is happening. He has opinions about my question, what I just asked, for better or for worse. And hopefully, soon enough, he'll actually answer with something or not. And then he's like, what is he saying? Oh, hi everyone to Devoxx Greece. Like I'd have time for all those pleasantries when I'm half Italian and half Dutch, and I have time for any of this, blah, 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 blah. So as you can see, he has a certain personality, right? And that is not, that is not by accident. So what I did is I have this colleague of mine, might be or might not be called Ricardo, which is coincidentally half Italian and half Greek, and we are butting heads every single day when we work together. Oh, sorry, he's half Italian, half Dutch, and I'm half Dutch, half Greek. So that is where the friction happens, you can say. And what I did is I exported all our Slack messages of the past 3 years together, put it in a vector database, and every time we ask something to Pip, I'm trying to inject the personality of this Ricardo person into the response, real time. And how that works, how that happens, we'll find out as we go. What's good to know is that this Ricardo person really drives me nuts. He's one of those software engineers that when you ask them a question, they'll answer with a question, right? So you need to understand what you're asking. And I'm not going to tell you the answer. You need to find out yourself, you know, stuff like that. It's like, ain't nobody got time for that. So that's a little bit what we're trying to recreate here. And we do that by creating so-called agentic systems. So if you Google agentic systems, who has built production-ready agentic systems? A couple people, great. So people working on Quarkus, yeah, I've done that. I bet you did, yeah. So the big companies typically say this is what an agentic system is like, so autonomous, independent, you know, make their own decisions, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Overall, I think it's pretty spot on. There are 2 types of agentic systems. If you use Cloud Code and agents like that, or agent harnesses like that, you're more on the agent side of things. So then you'll see that they're making their own to-dos and they're working those to-dos, you know, stuff like that. We're going to be working more with workflows today. And workflows are, I hate saying the word, but they're more leaning towards a deterministic system. Who loves determinism as a software engineer? Okay, I'm a little bit worried by the people that did not raise their hands with this one. So I work a lot on enterprise backend, and one thing is for sure, software I push to production, or code I push to production, has to be deterministic, almost like 99.9% of the time. And workflows are a step towards there. They're definitely not deterministic. There are going to be issues. There are going to be things breaking. You're going to find yourself building guardrails upon guardrails, but it's a step towards that. To make these things happen today, everything you'll see, all the code you'll see, I'm using Qdrant, which is a vector database running locally for persistence. So all the messages are in that vector database. The backend is a whole Spring stack. Spring AI, Spring Boot, et cetera, et cetera. I have a little bit of Python there. Any Python developers here? Okay, a couple. Python with fast API. Why I need it, I'll show you in a bit. And it's all written in Kotlin. Kotlin fan people, by any chance? Ooh. Well, that makes 2 of us. Nice. And the front end is an IntelliJ plugin, right? So what I just showed you, it was a very basic workflow, and a simple workflow looks a little bit like this. So you saw a categorization agent, you saw a judgment agent, and you saw the response agent. This is basically what you see here, right? Let me zoom in a bit. And what these agents are, they have a fancy name, agent, but they're nothing more than a system prompt. And LLMs, by default, are stateless, right? So every single agent has like this one responsibility principle that we know all too well from our days software engineering and creating classes. You know, it's basically the same. One responsibility principle as small as possible system prompt, and they have one job. The first one takes the user query and categorizes it. The second one judges the user query based on the personality of Ricardo and says, OK, this is a good question or not. And the third one actually gives a response. So if I go to the prompt, for example, so this is how a prompt looks like, for example, when we are just chatting with the agent. So these prompts are mostly built using AI tooling. So basically loaded all the messages in an LLM and asked the LLM, what is the personality of this person? And you can have no idea how vindicated I felt when the LLM agreed with me that Ricardo was very sarcastic and very snarky in his comments. And then some output format things. When you use tooling like Spring AI or LangChain4j or LangGraph if you're in Python, a lot of the schema templating can be abstracted away by the framework. But I'm using a thinking model, and I just migrated to a new model, and everything broke, and then I just had to re-add this JSON templating on it. And that is big problem number one, something that we like to call model lock-in. I use Qwen 3.5 right now. Anybody, who has heard of Ollama before? Oh, OK, that's great. Ollama is like a Docker for local models. So you can run models locally. Right now, I'm using Qwen 3.5. A couple of weeks ago, I was using Qwen 3.0. I migrated to a newer model, and everything broke. All my prompts, everything basically stopped working, or mostly stopped working. And that is something that we call model locking. So once you're writing your prompts in these kinds of systems against one model, it is really tricky to, or everything can basically break if you migrate to another model, which is a huge problem, right? So we kind of like backwards compatibility. And again, you'll find yourself building guardrails upon guardrails to alleviate this issue. Now I'm kind of spoiling what Ricardo can do. So let's ask him something else. Do you like pineapple on pizza? Anybody here that likes pineapple on their pizza? Some people very proudly, yes. I love it. You don't like it, Mario? Pineapple belongs on pizza, and my sarcasm does too, but no, I don't care for your generic banality. What does banality mean? The hell? So I learned a new word. We can do also things like, hey, buddy, I'm stuck, can't focus. Can you please help me focus? And again, you're seeing we're walking through these steps. So first, we're trying to categorize what the user is asking. And then once it's categorized, thankfully correctly, it's going down a different flow. So really a different code path. Oh. And as you can see, he can also generate memes. And this is how he helps us focus. Who remembers this little DVD thing? Oh, man, that was hypnotizing, wasn't it? So right now, we have 20 more minutes pretty much in this presentation. And we can do two things. We can keep staring at it until it hits a corner, or I can continue. No? We stare? All right. Well, maybe now? No. No, not even close. So, oh, wait. No, not even close. All right. So, as you saw, let's remove that. I'll get way too distracted otherwise. Pip control. If we go to the controller, basically when we're asking anything on pip, this is basically the categorization step. So we're asking the pip, and this is a design pattern, if you want to call it. It's called agent as a judge pattern. So where the agent is going to judge the input of the user and categorize it or flat out deny it. So this is a more fun way to do it, but of course, if you're going to be using this kind of workflows in your production systems, you want to sanitize and check user input if they're trying to prompt inject you or do anything malicious, right? And here basically you can see, okay, this is what the categorization agent returned, and based on what we're getting, we're going into different workflows. And for example, this is the stuck workflow. And this is basically all that we do once we are stuck. By the way, if you have questions or insults or criticism, feel free to just shout as we go. It's OK. I can take it. My dad is a 75-year-old Greek. I'm pretty sure there's nothing I haven't heard before. All right. So, of course, we're talking about pair programming, so there should be some programming here as well. So let's ask him, hey, you got to be nice to him. You know, have you ever heard before that saying please and thank you to an LLM is waste of tokens, right? Arguably, that is true, except in this case. Trust me. Hey there, buddy. I need help from the best programmer there is, you. Can you please add another configuration in this class? Good thing that typos don't really matter when you're talking to LLMs, right? Add another configuration to this class. Make it so that the new config can only has the meme tools in the tool callback. Okay, let's see what he says. So again, we have a categorization agent. Good. It saw that we are indeed trying to code. It accepted our user request because apparently it is specific, includes necessary code, context, etc., etc., and that the coding agent is handling. And what you see here is actually what actually goes to the LLM. So it's basically the whole class is copy-pasted into the user prompt and sent to the LLM. And what you say, yes, yet another configure, how thrilling, you want bean that only has meme tools, I'll give you something you can actually use, unlike most of the configure. Okay, click away. And then there is some, as you can see, there is a code here, and then he didn't really place it correctly, but what can I say? I don't have the funding to place it, to do it all correctly. Let's, if an agent can accept things, can also deny things. Wait, I don't know where he went. Just bring him back. And that is like the guardrails that you're building on things. So let's ask him something more rudely. Hey, loser, rewrite this class for me now, fast. I want to write something in Greek, but then I decided that might get me canceled, so let's not do that. So now he says deny because a user question is apparently abusive, starting with hey loser. So he didn't like that. And then let's see what he's going to do now. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. So this is this is what I call, I guess, maybe toxic-based programming or something. That when you do things wrong, your code just explodes. And you really need to be nice to your agent. And going, okay, how long is it going to be doing this? Okay, it's okay now, buddy. Yeah. Right. And that is basic. And basically, so this is the function that creates a good coding response, and this is one of the possible pranks. So you can create poetry out of your code base, or you can translate your code to Greek, Italian, Japanese, or he can blow up your code. And that is a little bit how a little bit of a coding workflow works. If we go to the coding prompts, coder prompts, and this is how the system prompt looks like if you want a Quen model, for example, to do some coding. Things like, hey, you're a senior software engineer, et cetera, trying to inject personality, et cetera, and things like that. Yeah? So far, so good? Okay. So you already saw it a little bit. But to make this work, to really inject this personality, because this personality is not inherent to the model, right? So we use, and LLMs have certain weaknesses. The biggest weakness of an LLM is the miscontext, right? We all have experienced this one. If you ask an LLM who the president of the United States is currently, it's going to say Joe Biden, and then you're going to be like, good old times. And the LLM responses quality decreases with more and more context that you give it. This is called context rot. So if you give an LLM millions of lines of code and things like that, it's going to start missing things. And underwater, what I do here, for example, is I have like this code graph that I'm compiling, and every method is in this dependency graph or this call graph that however you want to call it, and then it knows, okay, we're changing something here, great, where is this method called in my code base, and then I can just inject only the relevant parts to the LLM. And that is a technique or design pattern that is called RAG. Anybody heard of RAG before? Yeah, Retrieval-Augmented Generation. It has a very fancy name. I disagree with the name, but whatever. All it does is it searches systems for relevant information as you're doing queries and injects it into the prompt as you go. And that is what RAG does. And we've been doing that with a vector database, with a code, basically all the time underwater. So here, everything you see here, the code that is being let me close this again. The code that is being injected here as we go with the responses from the vector database, which are here, that is a form of RAG. I have this QDRAN service, for example, here. And what it does is every time we're doing any call, we're searching the vector database for anything that is semantically close to whatever we're asking. For example, here, if you're asking for this text, your metal hurts my ears. Any metalheads here? Come on, be proud of it, people. Good. And we vectorize it. This is what we get back. This is a little bit of the data you get back. And this is the vector representation of your metal hurts my ears. And vector representations are very good at basically finding pieces of text that are semantically very close to each other. Right? And we have some sparse vectors and multi-vector vectors that make this even easier to find pieces of text that are semantically close to each other. And then if we query the database, this is what we have in the database that is semantically close to the piece of text, your metal hurt my ears. So your metal music really, so unsurprisingly, Ricardo said this once to me, and then some other pieces of text that are semantically close to that text. And this is happening underwater every single time. Every time I ask something to pip, we're querying the vector database for anything that Ricardo might have said that might be close to that, and like that, we're trying to inject personality as we go. All right. So another thing that I want to be talking about is MCP, Model Context Protocol. Anybody that has done something with MCP? So I basically decided to use this or try this out because it was like all the rage and all the hype back in the day, half a year ago. Right now, I don't think it's like as exciting as back then. And I'll be honest, I understand why, because I'm not a huge fan of it. So, for example, the meme that you saw that Pip generated, that is an MCP tool call. Or him knowing that we are at the Devoxx right now, that is an MCP tool call. So my MCP server is called MCPip. And basically all of this is, for example, the meme service, and this is how it looks like in Spring AI. If you use LangChain or other similar frameworks, it's going to look pretty much a little bit like this. You define your tool, you say generate the one, blah, 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 meme, and this is the parameter, and this is what we get back from this tool call. And basically, once we start a server, this is a client that is injected as a sub-process in the MCP server, and it's communicating via STD.io. And it works pretty okay. What else? Oh, I have, for example, I can play music. Let me close this one again. Let's see if it works. Anybody has a favorite song? Really, nobody has a favorite song? Yeah? Master of Puppets. You really went for the, how can I get this video taken down on YouTube as quickly as possible one, huh? Let's try. Can you play Master of Puppets by Metallica? So let's see, categorization agent, music, so that's good. So we're in the right category. Music agent is handling music requests. And then, that is indeed the Master of Puppets by Metallica, isn't it? So this is the moment where I need to keep talking so that YouTube doesn't get flagged because I'm playing Master of Puppets. And now shut up and listen to the, oh. Okay, I'm sorry. So yeah, is this easier than going on Spotify and pressing play? Not necessarily. Is it cooler? Most definitely. Well, how about, so I heard about this Greek song the other day, and I'm a huge fan. Can you play? So anybody heard of this, this one, Ferto by Aquilas? Yeah? Who likes it? Is it going to win the Eurovision? Maybe? Well, he actually found it. I did not. Wow. Enjoy your soft, mellow, unrock music. I bet you did not expect to hear this one during presentation at Devoxx Greece, did you? All right. Let's not get completely flagged out here. So, and these are MCP tool calls, right? So, in one of the MCP tools, I have Spotify connections with Spotify APIs that basically deterministic code that calls the Spotify API and plays a song. And all the LLM needs to do is find, filter out which song and which song name I'm trying to play and pass them as the correct parameters. And that works kind of fine, but I have a huge issue when it comes to MCP, and that's MCP security. And my issue is not necessarily authentication, authorization, because they're working on that. My issue is that, let's say you are using the official GitHub MCP server. Anybody using the official GitHub MCP server with Cloud Code and stuff like that? One person. And then you use a Postgres MCP server. Anybody using database MCP server for the databases? Some really, really brave people here. Because what can happen is that you ask the LLM to create a comment on a pull request or whatever, and it can really think, okay, I need to create a comment on GitHub. I have a GitHub tool call. Let me check the database, read the database for data, information about any user that might have to do something with this, and post that on the comment on GitHub. And that is something that is actually happening, it has happened, et cetera, et cetera. So what you're seeing is frameworks allow you nowadays to basically per step, per agentic workflow step, say which tool calls am I allowed to use here and which tool calls am I not allowed to use here. But this whole, that whole thing is like this unending rabbit hole that you first need to know which tool calls you have in your LLMs, in your clients all the time, and which tool calls will not go nice with other ones, and you're continuously fine-tuning, guardrailing yourself if you use these MCP things. So personally, I would say either write your own tools or maybe migrate to skills nowadays. That is a thing that is a little bit more, that you have more control over, and use your own skills. Please don't pick up skills from GitHub and use them blindly, because they can really be very malicious. One last thing. I know some of you might be thinking, but Alex, this is an IntelliJ plugin. The day of the IDE is over. We're going to be doing everything from our terminal, from terminal UIs nowadays. Well, I got you. There we go. Introducing pip code. And then, hey, can we... and then you see the categorization agent. Good. It sees that we want to be playing games with it. And then we can play Pong with Pip. And maybe this is the future where we're waiting for Cloud Code or GitHub CLI to finish to whatchamacalling it, or whatever Cloud Code is saying nowadays, that we're playing a game of Pong. Or maybe the little dinosaur when you have no internet connection and you're jumping. Maybe that is the plugin we need for Cloud Code or GitHub CLI. All right. Okay. So I'm almost at the end. After making these workflows, I think I took a moment to think about things, and the biggest feeling I had is that integrating these large language models into like a production-like workflow or system really felt like coding against a toddler. And what I mean with that is that prompts aren't compiled. I come from a C# Java background. I love my compiler. I guess if you are coming from a JavaScript background or Python, you don't really have a strong connection with your compiler. I'm not sure. But these prompts are mostly vibe checked. And it can really cause a lot of problems. And it took me a long time to debug some of these problems. For example, I wanted to have a workflow that checked my Kotlin code on, I wanted Kotlin code to be idiomatic Kotlin, right? You can do the same for Java. And I wrote, you are an idiomatic agent that checks for idiomatic code. And there was one letter, T, and changed it from idiomatic to idiomatic. I can tell you, the responses I was getting back from my agent, because of I misplaced one letter, were atrocious, really atrocious, and borderline offensive, pretty much. That's also the reason why I'm not showing it live on stage. And it took me easily, I think, a week until I found out that I made a typo that had so much impact into my to my system. Another issue I have that large language models right now are completely unsustainable. They're pumped up by venture capitalist money, and you have seen it already. Like they're squeezing the money faucet. Cloud Code has becoming more and more expensive. They're A/B testing different tiers and stuff like that. Anybody read their post-mortem on why Cloud Code sucked the past couple of weeks, by any chance? So past couple of weeks, people were like, Cloud Code, it really kind of sucks right now. And they were like, no, there's nothing wrong. And today they release a post-mortem telling us, yeah, you were right. So they basically were gaslighting the whole industry for a couple of weeks, which is really something to keep in mind, that the tools that you're using today, they are definitely not how you will be using these tools in a couple of weeks, months, basically, because it goes really fast. They're going to be monetized more and more aggressively. It's not going to take long anymore until we start seeing advertisements in these large language models. I'm pretty sure about that. The future where you ask it to create a caching layer in your system, and then it's like, you're like, yeah, do it with Spring Cache or Quarkus Cache. Is there a Quarkus Cache? Quarkus Cache, use Quarkus Cache instead of Spring Cache. But before he does that, it's going to be like, oh, I can do that bad. But have you heard about Redis, the #1 caching solution in the industry, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? They are coming. But that said, they are really cool tech, right? What you can do with LLMs right now is pretty amazing. We got used to them really fast, but we should not forget how cool transformer models are and what they enable you to do. And right now, we are in the good old days of large language models. Really don't forget this one. You can go on Hugging Face or whatever. You can pull a large language model, use it locally, do whatever you want with it, play around with it without it costing any money. You're paying $20 a month to use Cloud Code for 5 minutes, I guess, before your session runs out. But even that is going to be distant past in not too long. So this is the moment to experiment with this technology. This is the moment to go and have fun with it, try things with it. Don't take it too seriously. Please don't create another note-taking app or whatever. Go wild with your ideas. Hopefully next year I'll be sitting there and somebody of you will show a wild idea or something fun they did with an LLM here. And I think with that, I'm over time already. Thank you for watching. All the code, everything on how things work are on my GitHub over there. You can download it. You can play with it. And if you do something cool with it, let me know. Thank you very much.